Well, hello, hello. The idea, insight, our sales secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. It's time to get more clients. And I'm Lynn Whitbeck, your host, your joyful sales queen. And today I am joined by my favorite marketing and tech superhero in her cape, in her goggles, RJ Redden. RJ, I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like after that introduction, I can just go to sleep for the rest of the day. So, yes, I'm so happy to be here with you, Lynn. It's always a blast.
And we are going to have such fun today because we're going to be talking about being creative, having fun, and standing out with music. And we're going to dive into how to use an innovative music tool for your sales and marketing. Now, in case you don't know RJ, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background before we dive right into the topic. RJ has been coaching people about technology since 1998, and that's even before we were worried about the year 2000 destroying all computers on the planet. But once she even, you really get to know RJ, the woman in the cape. She once spent 5 months in a country where she didn't know the language, just so she could learn how to explain things more effectively to people. That's scary. That's amazing. So RJ loves teaching technology like it's her best friend, and she has the most outstanding clients on the earth. That has to be true because I'm one of them.
Yay!
So I want to welcome everyone to this romp through this great tool. It's called Refusion. And RJ, I would love to have you tell and share with people what's Refusion. And I want to say that the beta is currently free, everybody. Okay, so RJ, how did you discover this tool? Tell us all about it.
Well, here's the discovery process is that every morning in my email, there are things for me to look at about AI. I work in AI. I always want to know the best tools out there, but I'm not looking for like, here's a million agents army to, I listen, I'm a one-woman show. I got one team member. You know what I mean? This is a cottage industry. I'm not trying to be crazy rich and famous. I mean, if it happens, I will allow it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not dealing with big corporation AI issues. I'm dealing with how do I use these tools to help me stand out, to help me create things that would have been out of my reach a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago. So I look at tools every day. My cat's about to come up and see me, so you're just going to see Odin. It's going to be fine. He's a good boy. Anyway, so these tools, and I get newsletters and stuff like that, and I look through, to see creatively, what's out there. I ran into Refusion one time, and I was like, wow. I mean, it's pretty simple. Now, there are a couple of other music generators out there. Udio is one that people like. There's one called Suno that people like as well. Great stuff, love it. But this one it was just kind of like, I love the way that it's, kind of still in beta, and it's, it feels like it's run by a small team, and those are the kinds of things that I'm given to loving anyway. And of course, I always want to promote free stuff to the audience, right? I mean, because then they can get on and try stuff out. And I was looking at it, and then I went on with my day, and I left it up in my in a tab. I was gonna, take another look later, and then I was playing with one of the bots that I have. I'm a writer of many chatbots, and they make me happy when skies are gray and every other color. I love writing chatbots, and I recently wrote one to point out the fact that they don't all have to be serious. They don't all have to be, like everybody else's. And so I came up with the Troll Emergency Response System.
So good.
The Troll Emergency Response System. Now, trolls are online. They're online, and they're also offline in our everyday lives, and they're also sometimes that little goblin in your head that's just telling you stuff that's pretty much BS, but you still listen anyway. I wanted something that would provide a very quick and incredibly snarky response. My wife had sent me this one caption of a guy, and he was talking about when people call you short, what they're really saying is that there's not enough of you. And I was looking at that comment and that little meme, and I was like, I wish I could respond in a way that tells the troll that I misunderstood it as a compliment. Whatever the hell they're saying, I want to turn it into a compliment and then, infuse it with a big old bless your heart energy. You know what I'm saying? What they're really saying is something else, but what they're saying on the top is bless your heart. So what this bot does is you give it the insult that your troll has given you, and it will return 3 very well-crafted, incredibly snarky, comebacks. And so I was playing with the bot, I was testing it a little bit, and I wrote in there, and somebody told me this one time that I'm a fossil and I shouldn't be talking online anymore, and all of these things, and I was thinking of that particular human, and so I wrote that into my Troll Emergency Response System chatbot, and it came back with 3 chef's kiss marvelous comebacks. And I was looking at them and I was thinking, I want to do something with these because that troll is long gone. And would I care to track that person down anyway? No, they're not my people. But I wanna do something with this, and I happened to spot that Refusion tab open, and I thought it looks like I've got here 3 verses of a song, and by God, I absolutely copied and pasted those 3 verses of a song into Refusion, and I said, give me a rocker, an 80s female rocker vibe. Pat Benatar comes to mind.
Yes.
And give me a rock anthem that is like, anthems are like, that breakthrough, this is who we are moment. Give me one of those. And it was absolutely fabulous what it turned out. And then I said, okay, let's help me with a bridge and a chorus. And I made it into a whole song. It made me so happy, and it made me so happy I sent it out in an email. Lynn, you read that email and you wrote me back, I want to play this on my iTunes. How can I do that?
Yeah, well, it's so easy. You can just download the song and you add it to your library, right? Yeah. But it was so great. It was so fun. If you're not on RJ's email list, you should be. And it was this, that's the thing. You are always introducing and always talking about things, and there are so many innovative ways to use. You repurposed it into an email, a nurture email to your audience. There are so many ways to repurpose these things and use them in our sales, our marketing, our outreach, our follow-up. And that's what I loved about Refusion because it's so unique. Yeah. You can literally send the track, a link to it, like in a text message, and they can click on it and listen to the song. You can put it in an email, right? So it's really very cool. And I'm going to lead off on another part of this because, how do you use Refusion? And it is super easy, and we're going to walk you through it. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to drop in the chat. I am going to show you, because I took inspiration from RJ, and I went, well, how could I use this? And every month I have a leading voice event. So leading voice event has a featured speaker, we have networking, and we have hot seat coaching. And so I sort of just put down some things about the Leading Voice event, right? I just wrote these out, and I put this into Refusion. I want to get that right, Refusion.
Yeah.
And don't worry, you guys, you're all going to get the link to that. So I'm going to put that, I just added it to the chat. I'm not sure how it's going to look like in the chat. I will say with Refusion, it sort of deletes things like bullet points and all this other stuff, but I literally just put it in the description. I didn't go to the advanced settings. I didn't do anything fancy schmancy, nothing else. But I described a little bit about the event. Well, what are you going to get in the event? And I got 2 songs back. And they absolutely blew me away. And I have to tell you that they've already become like favorite songs. And I'm going to put those in the chat right now because you can, since we're live streaming, I don't think I can really play them where you're going to be able to hear them. But you can click on them, you can listen to them, you can favorite them, you can download them. That's what I really love about this. This is a free tool. Now you can go in, you can, like RJ, and do the more advanced settings. So I'm going to let her talk about that. But this is literally just the main dialogue box. And whammo, what did it give me? And both of these were songs about my Leading Voice event. And now I use them. I actually use them on my meetup communication, and I sent these songs out for inspiration to, come to the event. I used them in my emails. Yeah. And so it was just like so much fun. And it was just a completely different way to invite people in and to really reveal, my personality of that. I want the events to be engaging and genuine and fun. I want people to get value out of everything that we do. So that was how I took what RJ did. And that's why I wanted to share it, because it just was so powerful, a different way that you can connect with people. So now, RJ, you've taken it a whole another level, because you've done all the creating your own lyrics and all that. So I want you to talk about how you can do that, because that is a feature in Refusion.
Well, it totally is. And as you think about music, there's a whole lot of different song structures. It isn't just verse, chorus, there's a lot in there. There's a bridge, sometimes there's a coda, maybe there's 2, I don't know. There's an instrumental break sometimes. There's so many different, it's almost like there's a set of tools there waiting for you to pick up. So what I did was I went, I just kind of I wanted to write the thing first, and then, I have my 3 verses, but I needed some other parts. And so I went to GPT, and I said, hey, this is what I got so far. I'm going to need, a chorus and a bridge and a, blah, blah, blah. And so I messed around with it there and got the lyrics perfect in there. You can do try to do that in Refusion itself. We'll do that for you. But I just wanted to, that's GPT I'm very familiar with, so I just took it over there. But I just got the words that I needed to say, and then I took it over and I really experimented with different sounds and different kinds of music. At one point I typed in there angelic choir. I really, really want to get an angelic choir singing insults. It makes me happy. I don't know why. It just it busts all the boundaries for me, and that's always going to be a winner. So I played around with the sound a lot and ended up with my rock anthem. Let's talk for a second about why music.
Yeah.
Because here it is, you'll hire people who will tell you about marketing, and they'll say, hire a funnel builder, get this website, they'll give you all that stuff. And, it works for some people. It really, really does. But here's what works for people who are more, I'll say, heart-driven and creative and maybe like a little bit of unconventionality. I chose to make that a music piece because I know that music sticks in your head. I mean, the name of the song was Someone Told Me I'm Too Old to Be Online. That is playing in my head right now. Like, and the whole, it's a fight song, baby. One of the verses, I think this one ended up getting cut, but one of the verses said, hey, I taught the algorithm how to paint. All right, don't sass me, and don't bother catching up, because it's not going to be super possible for you. Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff. It just, in the particular instance that we're talking about. Now that troll gave me a huge gift, didn't they? They didn't want to give me a huge gift, but they did. And now I can anything can go into that thing and then turn into music or whatever. The second thing is that, the why music thing. Music makes us feel a certain, you know what I mean? Like, we're not logically thinking about the words necessarily. I mean, sometimes we might analyze it that way or thinking about it that way. But a lot of music that we absolutely love doesn't make any sense. Bohemian Rhapsody, anyone? What in the hell is that song about? Can anyone tell me? I don't know. But the minute that thing is on a radio or whatever receptacle people are playing it on, other people will sing. I mean, it's one of our favorites. And it's because of that emotion being expressed. One thing that particularly females are taught in this society: don't be emotional. No one will ever take you seriously. But here's the thing that you and I both know. People buy things from emotions and then back it up with facts.
Yeah, absolutely. People buy and they make their decision. It's an emotional decision, and then they justify it.
Yes.
So it's so important that you tap into those emotions. And I think the other thing about music is this universal language. And it really sets the tone. It can also really communicate the messaging in a very different way. It's literally firing off in our brain a different way.
Yeah.
And so the thing about how you can incorporate this into your sales and marketing for outreach is just truly limitless. It's only by your own imagination. But it can also showcase that side of you, that very authentic side of you of who you are. And that is one of the most important things you can do to really truly connect and stand out, is when you share and you reveal your authentic self.
And that's what bonds people to you, and that's what, when also just in marketing, when you do something unexpected, it makes people sit up and listen. What better way to do that than through some music? What better way to do that than put an earworm in their head? Because, we all have so many things being blasted at us every single day by every rectangular screen we come across. Most of the messages, a hell of a lot of them, are negative these days. A lot of negative stuff's going on, truth. But also what isn't negative doesn't even normally apply. But you can stand out above that crowd with a really nice hook and a little chorus that keeps running through somebody's head and makes them think, I need to call that person. You want to stand up and stand out, do something different, do something unexpected. And you were also mentioning a little while back all of the ways you can use this.
Yeah.
One way is service. One way is, if you've got modules in a course or whatever, why don't you do a song for every one?
Yeah.
Why not?
Chapter in a book. Song for the chapter in the book.
Why, you write a book, release an album with it, please. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be, I completely, transparency. I am not singing. I do not know how to play things. I made this on Refusion. So I do, you gotta be real about it. But for me, it's going to serve the people who are sitting inside that class. Events, why not write a song about an event? Oh my gosh. And send it out many, many times with each invitation. Because then they're going to get that song in their head and go, I got to find out about that.
Well, you can also use it, it's that type of promotional piece. You can use it at the beginning of your event. You could use it to create the music that's a part of your intro before, if you are doing courses, or an intro for your podcast or your live stream. You can use it as a follow-up device, right? And literally pulling in some of the points, and you can make this song. Well, the beautiful thing about these songs is they can be really short, sweet, and to the point.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and you can truly capture, just like I did and I showed you in the chat. This is all I wrote out about the event. Pretty bare bones, and it delivered a fabulous song to me. Now, I also experimented with it where I could just use those were the lyrics, and I came out with songs that were much shorter, like 90 seconds or something. But I just love the ones that I put in there, and I was looking for yours. If we don't have it, RJ, we need to put yours in the chat so people can tune in and listen to that. But it truly is only limited by your imagination. And you can repurpose them. So let's talk about that. So I created that for my event. I used it in my nurture emails. I used it for the event communication. I used it at the beginning of the event. There's 2 different songs. And that first song, Let It Happen, that's my true jam, And I like the other one too, don't get me wrong, but that first one just really connects with me. But that's the thing. I loved both of them. You can create your own graphics, right? So you can actually create a graphic. If you wanted to create something that it's not public, you can do that. So you could actually make one specifically for a client. Heck, you could do one that someone we both know and love had his birthday today. You could literally make a song from the email that he sent, and it could become a song, a ballad. I'm thinking of a ballad, sort of a Bob Dylan ballad.
Yeah.
So that we could send him for his birthday. We could. So, and how is that not so special and unique for that client? And yes, the AI Refusion created it, but you still put the thought and effort and energy into it, and it's delivering something that is truly different, that they would never expect.
Well, in our roles as creators are changing, because, a long time ago, in a land far away, okay, I'm lying, it was up the street. Anyway, a long time ago, I was a theater student. And you had, you kind of had the actors, they were creating stuff. It was written for them, but the role, the physical embodiment, the emotions, the tone, all of that created by the actor. You've got lighting folks that are, creating these scenes. You've got set folks that are building and painting. You've got all of these things. And you've got one director sitting in the audience going, you know what, that light's not quite right. Hey, say it this way. We've gone from individual creators with, not a lot of tools at our disposal sometimes, which can also be fun, but we've gone from individual creators kind of shouting into the void of social media because, sometimes that can be a kind of a tough void, to that director sitting in the back of the audience going, thank you for creating that for me, but could you zhuzh it this way? Because that's really going to get the message across. And with our roles changing like that, Yes, I absolutely directed that music. I absolutely did. When I wrote my book, I did the same thing. GPT created a bunch of stuff, and I went, all right, scratch this whole thing. Let's go into this right over here. We need a story here. I mean, I'm no longer just that individual creator in a silo. I'm looking at and accepting and rejecting and refining all of these things that are given to me into one big old message, that represents me to the universe. How cool is that?
Yeah, well, it is. It is. It's really cool. But that, I really want to, from the client's perspective, when you're looking for the outreach, for that sales and marketing outreach, really leaning into what's going to matter to them, what's going to appeal to them, and why it matters to them. I mean, the music is still that way to break through and to make the connection in a very unique and different way. I mean, you could take that and you could drop it into a DM, right? You could take a message that you're planning to send and instead create a little riff, a refusion, a riff, and drop it in there. And it's going to be so unique. It's going to be so different that I really feel that is right now, with this emerging tech, you can truly use it in so many creative ways. You just don't have to be like everybody else.
No, stand up, stand out, show people who you are, tell them what you do. Now more than ever, we need some voices out there that aren't spouting negativity, that aren't, talking about the same things everybody's been talking about for a long time. We need some really true voices out there, and you don't have to use Refusion. You could absolutely use an image creator, a video creator. You can create your own world. You can do all of those things and let it represent your brand in 3 dimensions instead of just font and color.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so inspired, and I'm so glad that, RJ, you and I got together to share this with our audience, because I really feel that this is such a powerful way to connect, to attract, connect, and really capture the attention of your ideal clients. So, and I'd love to hear from everybody who is here today and who listens to the episode after it hits all of the podcast channels. What's your biggest takeaway? We always want to hear. RJ and I want that feedback. You can leave it in the chat. You can leave it in the down below, and just give us your feedback. We really do value and appreciate when you provide that. And on the other note, it is important to share the things that you love. And if you love this episode, please leave us a 5-star review and go ahead and subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe, as I should say. And if you want to get results even faster, I invite you to connect with RJ or myself, because we're here to support and help you. And RJ, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that it is a beautiful and amazing time to be alive, that we have more tools to express ourselves than we ever have in the past, and that there's so much mistrust for lots and lots of things nowadays, but particularly people who are marketing and selling things. We do not have to be sleazy, slimy snakes.
Oh, no. Never works.
It never works. Authentic stuff sells, and what better way than to just maybe pick up a few creative tools, see what you make, and see what your audience thinks. The time to experiment is right now, so take advantage of it.
All right. Thank you so much, RJ. This has been RJ Redden, the amazing RJ Redden, and your joyful sales queen, Lynn Whitbeck of Get More Clients. And we really appreciate your being here, and we'll see you next time.